Hello and welcome to episode 30 of... What, Martin, you've got...
I'm much more handsome without the glasses, Dave.
Oh.
You know, I didn't realise we were ready to film then.
I thought you had enough of seeing me. Anyway, episode 30 of Illuminating Rounds. Welcome, Martin. How you doing?
Do you know what? Now I've got my glasses off, I can't see them.
You're happy to see me. Now, we talked a little bit about this at the start. Your camera is making your house look a bit like a hobbit house. You don't live in a hobbit house, but it's...
No. That is actually an arch. That isn't just a weird camera design.
No, not the one on the left. The one on your left. The one on your left should be a straight line, I think, going up.
Yes, yeah. That's because I think it's like a sort of one of these wide-angle webcam things, isn't it? Yeah. And it's apparently, thanks for this description, making my eyes look a bit fishy. Thanks for that.
I would say that your camera was a fisheye. Anyway, how have you been? You're back at work.
I've been back at work for about 5 weeks now.
Oh, really?
It's been going quite well, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, busy, very, very busy. I've got lots of plans to be a lot less busy in my life, but we're not there yet.
Not there yet. And we had a meet-up, didn't we, with fellow Patreon and all-round good guy Indy at the weekend. It was good to have a virtual beer with him. So a big shout out to Indy for hosting a nice beer
that
session.
Was great. And I sort of forgot as well, which is like unforgivable. And I had to join with a cup of tea, and everybody else had an alcoholic drink. But
the funny little story there, I said to as I told you at the time. So Indy had said, he's come and stayed at your house, hasn't he? And he would love to come over here, and he's always welcome here. And so I had to leave the call a little bit early. So I went and left the call, and I went to spoke to my son, who's 10. And I said to him, hey, I've just been talking to Indy. He's from Canada. He stayed at Martin's house, and he's, he might come and stay with us one day. And Jake just deadpan said, is that because he's homeless? He's not homeless, but from now on, in our mind, Indy is homeless. So
yes, yeah.
put a friendly put him up if you can. Always nice to catch up with ASL guys, not even over a board. So it was nice, and we should do that more often with other guys. And
well, to be fair, we see Indy every year except this year.
It's true,
don't we? It's always comes over for a tournament. He
does.
Whatever.
Yeah, he does. And yeah, he's patented with the twisty counters to show they're moved, and good friends with Jerry, who apparently Jerry Proudfoot, who's another patron who we played in the tournament. Both of us played, and they apparently live quite close to each other and play. So it's a small world. It's a small world. So
Absolutely.
Lots today. We have to welcome a new Patreon. So Jason Nichols.
Jason Nichols, yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jason, for your patronage. We really appreciate that. We are going to host a new tournament. So we are at the almost semi-final stage. We are expecting the last result either today or tomorrow. So that will be in by the time the next one's done. And we're going to talk about a scenario we've picked for the semi-final. But we're going to get that in. You're going to do the draw for the semi-final, Martin, once everybody's through.
And of course, will Jason Nichols get to go into that draw?
He will go into the next. In the Patreon draw. I was talking about the draw for the semi-final. But yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, of course, he won't be in that. Yeah.
We are going to do a giveaway as well for patrons. So we're going to give away another March Madness pack. So stay tuned to that at the end, Martin, with you and your random number generator. And you're going to include Indy this time in it. Is that right?
Yeah, I've had a lot of pressure. I think I'm going to have to include Indy this time. Yeah.
Okay, we'll give
In
him
fact,
this.
we had a lovely email from Jerry saying how much he liked his T-shirt and how pleased he was to have one that Indy didn't have. Something that Indy didn't have. So.
And yeah, that's very true. We've run out now. We've run out of the large size. We've only got extra large and extra large. So
if you're thinking about becoming a Patreon and you happen to be, the larger side. You never know.
Absolutely. All right. So we've got a couple of interesting bits and pieces today. We're going to talk about some PBM, why you should play ASL via Play by Mail. And Rob McGinley has done a great little intro segment for that I'm going to show you in a little while. And we're also going to do some neutral commentary from Tom Repetti and Tuomo, who played each other. So the two Tuomos are playing each other. It's going to give us all sorts of problems, but we're going to try and commentate on their game that they played. You and I played this game as well, Martin, to kind of familiarise ourselves with the scenario.
We might let people in on find out what happened at the end of that game.
Yeah.
It was at the end after Tom Repetti escaped.
Yeah, it was a good ending, wasn't it? It was a good. We had a good,
very good ending.
We had a good one. All right, okay. So, without further ado, here's Rob.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm thanking very much Dave and Martin for allowing me to have a 5 to 6 minute clip around regards to wonderful things about play by email. So, over the next 3 segments, I'll go through the good, bad, and ugly of play by email. Importantly, the first one, which we're going to cover, are full of mainly positive comments and a few examples. So why would we do play by email? Well, I've been addicted to ASL since I was 18, and now in my 50s, I find that I've got absolutely no time to do face-to-face, drive somewhere, spend a day with someone, go to a conference. So what do you do with the addiction? What do you do when you're an addict? And importantly, I've always wanted to do a tournament, and now we even have tournaments like Cyber ASL, which are play by email only. One of the most amazing things is I've developed great friendships in different time zones thanks to play by email, which is almost impossible to organise face to face. I have to get out at 4 o'clock out of bed to be able to play someone in England from 7 to 8 o'clock in the morning. So either I'm out of bed early or they're out of bed late. And as for weekends, some of us have just lost our weekends. Our families have grown up to a point where they're much more demanding when they were little kids. And basically, there are no time on weekends to spend a day at someone else's place. And often we can't travel when there's huge distances to travel in Australia. And if you want to play anybody outside of the local suburb or, the local city, you really are stuck with trying to coordinate a live vassal, which is possible, but also play by email means you keep in contact with people. And absolutely the biggest thing about play by email that I love, and a big why, is that I'm going over my rules much more thoroughly and my tactics much more thoroughly because you have time to look things up, etc. Now, everybody has a different flavour of game in ASL. So similarly, the way we play ASL has a different flavour. It's a bit like faith in the Bible. Some of us like to go to Sunday church every week, week after week. And that's that, go over to a friend's place once a week and play a great game. I think Dave and Martin does that on a regular basis with their Illuminating rounds. Some like that, 2 hours, 2 to 3 times a week. And that's that, possibility of doing the live vassal. But play by email means that you can get that fixed as well. But really, those of us who love just, to keep our days rocking along, distract us from our work, a couple of small sippets a day really does help. Or even putting aside, an hour to do a series of logs from different people, different places. So some players you'll see, 3 to 4 small logs a day where you really get a bit of intensity up. Some players have 6 different logs up to, and, they send them 2 or 3 times a week, and you really do get to play 6 completely different games, and it's very exciting. And some just do that type of thing on a weekend, so that that you get about 3 or 4 logs done every weekend. Doing it once a week or, longer than that is pretty useless because you do lose track. And it's really exciting, the suspense of the log files, particularly the ones that are coming regularly during the day, or, those ones that are regularly during the week or that weekend, really either on the email itself or just the intensity of you've done something and you can't wait to see the log come back. Now, it is true some people use Dropbox and not email, so I thought I'd mention that there. And the biggest thing is there's so much stuff comes out. There's new stuff, there's old stuff, and you really want to discard that dog early so you don't waste your time looking up rules and doing rules. And play by email is much better than a face-to-face where, you set up all this game, you interplay a game too, and you just throw it in the bin. So how do you do it? Well, I recommend everybody type in ASL in real time, Vassal 201 on YouTube, and you get a complete explanation of log files, play by email, Vassal, etc., etc. So it's a great way to start. Then find yourself a good tutor, someone who's been doing it lots. And the tutor will slowly work with you probably on Skype for the first 1 to 2 hours so that you get that live question and answer situation. But then you get your flow in and then just go slow with that, tutor. And as you get very confident, add in new players, because you get new confidences, new rules, new scenarios. And some people, might just send you logs based on their style, and that might suit you. And once you've started to improve your knowledge and your tactics based on using play-by-email, then you move to, cyber ASL, where you really hone your tactics because you get different players from all over the world. And, there's some really big positives of setting up any scenario of your dreams, spending a lot of time getting situations. And in part 2, I'll talk about, how you can remind yourself on VSL, Vassal, regards some of the things that you were planning to do that your opponent can't see, but is part of that electronic game that you don't get face to face. And getting the rules right is a big deal in this game. It is actually the basis of this game and why people were addicted to it. So here's an example of a typical tourney game that was played recently, one of the English tournaments, working out what you're going to do in that terrain, in the jungle, with the Japanese and hidden, etc. And what the Americans are going to do with their firepower and their smoke and their weapons. Really cool. And here's 2 examples of much larger setups where on the left-hand side we have the typical Crucible Steel scenario, Bounding Fire number 93, massive German force coming on against very entrenched and fortified Russians, as opposed to the famous, ASL 84 from Hollow Legions, where the Germans attack on 2 axes and try and clear the city. So next time, part 2. Thanks for listening.
So that was pretty good.
Very
Martin.
Interesting.
Yeah, and does it make you want to do some more play-by-mail?
I don't play by email anymore. I have actually tried it again just recently. I played with Nick recently, and I kind of fizzled out. So I think I kind of lost interest. But in the past, I have really enjoyed playing by email, and there are some real benefits to it. It's at a totally different pace, isn't it, to a normal game. You get to think about it as long as you want, and you get to look forward to the log files coming back from your opponents. And I think as long as you've got a good opponent, not like me, because I was one that fizzled out with Nick. I don't feel great about it. He was very good at posting back. It is quite a lot of fun, and it means you get your fix every day.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. It's a small drip feed, isn't it, of ASL?
Yeah. So I think there's a lot to be said for it. Some people love it. I certainly had my day. But I get to play enough now. Face to face, so I prefer to do that.
Excellent. Now you played Martin Myers. Was it yesterday? How did you get on?
Yes. Oh well, Martin Myers didn't get on very well. So he blamed me. He said I picked, of all the scenarios in ASL, I picked the worst one. I can't even remember what it was called now.
Okay, you can look it up and tell us about it.
I'll look it up and let you know later. But basically, Marty decided it was a rubbish scenario after the first turn and a half. He didn't have much left, there were reinforcements going on. It's great. It's great fun beating Martin because, to be honest, I don't do it very. But when it happens, it happens big.
Brilliant. Okay, well look at that up for us and tell us more about that scenario. Did you keep a log file for us?
I didn't, but you know what? It's so short, it doesn't matter.
That's the best one. We could have seen it in real time. We could. Martin would love to hear.
Hopeless at doing log files. I just forget.
Do us a log file because then we can see them next time. Okay, all right. So let's go on to talk about his Shadowy Sides. So what you can see now is Tom Repetti's setup. He's going to talk about that in a second. Martin, why don't you give us an overview of what this is all about and
sure.
What's it about?
Yeah, so so can they see the map at the moment?
They can, yep.
They can. So basically, a very, very small German force sets up on board. It's literally 1.5 conscript squads, 1.5 second line squads. There's a dismantled medium machine gun. There's a 10-2 leader, which sounds great, but he's wounded, so he's really just a very slow 9-1 leader. And they've got to defend against a very powerful Russian force in comparison. 12 447s, a couple of leaders, one of which is a commissar, and 2 KV2s, which are virtually, well, they're not impregnable in close combat, but they're very, very powerful. Russian.
We are expecting
huge gun. Doesn't have any rate of fire, but huge gun nonetheless. And the Russians have got to start trying to capture hexes, building hexes in the town. They're likely to make a lot of progress, but on turn 2, the Germans get a much more powerful force coming on to help them. It's 8 4.6.7s, a couple of -1 leaders. The turn after that, they get 4 Panzer 4s. Now, Panzer 4s against the KVs are basically twisted metal. They're never gonna win against the KV2s. The best chance they've got is to just stay away from them. So there's likely to be a little bit of a chase, but the Panzer 4s are much faster than the KV2s. The Russians win by capturing at the end 9 building hexes, or by destroying 3 more German tanks than the Germans destroy Russian tanks.
Right.
So basically, they can win by capturing 9 building hexes, or by destroying 3 Panzer 4s and not losing a KV2.
Right.
They lose a KV2, they've got to destroy all 4.
Right. And it's 7.5 turns.
It is indeed 7.5 turns. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And do we know about the balance? I don't know the balance at the moment. I think it's fairly.
I think it's reasonably balanced on Raw, as far as I remember.
Yeah. So 17-13. And it was previously published in the Friendly Fire pack, wasn't it? So it's currently in the Best of Friends pack from MMP, but it's also a Friendly Fire scenario. All right, okay then. So let's listen to Tom's setup.
Yeah.
All right, here's my German defense for about his Shadowy Sides. On board 17, when someone's coming in from either side, the thing I really like to do is lay a machine gun fire lane across the axis of advance. And I think there's an opportunity to do that here. I probably got a little fancy in what I'm trying to do, but I started the DM machine gun here, and he may have an opportunity to fire onto the other board 19 on turn 1, but the plan is to assemble a machine gun on turn 1 defensive fire, and then in his own turn, everybody in this area is going to focus and move into hex N9, where there's going to be a support weapon exchange, and then I'm going to advance this 237 with the machine gun here to where the hip 10-2 is, and then they're going to lay a fire lane out to J0, J1, which I hope will be useful and helpful at that point. I know there's a lot of if coming off of that plan, so we'll see whether it works, but I just really hate the idea of sitting in the middle of town and letting the KV2s come on and blast me. Board 17 seems like this entire area is often important to holding and taking board 17, and I think I need to secure it in order to let my reinforcements come on from board 19. Now, the rest of the real units are down here in the town. P4 is there to act like he's got the machine gun and maybe the hip leader, and also to strip concealment on any Russians coming in from the side. Back here in W3 is where I stuck the 436, hoping that he can just hold that as a backstop, because I don't trust him to pass morale checks further on. I've never played Tuomo before, so I have no idea how well these dummies are going to work, this guy or the one up on board 19, but you know, we'll see. I have low expectations for them anyway. As far as my reinforcements go, I'm just going to react to what Tuomo does, depending on how much he sends onto board 17. I'm sorry, board 19. I'm definitely going to need to deploy my infantry and maybe use my tanks to lay smoke to help them get across. For the rest of the game, I think it's going to be hard for my tanks to avoid those KV2s if he really wants to park them in the middle of the action on board 17. I'm going to have to stay out of their line of sight and dart in and out and hope I can make my motion rolls while hurting the Russian infantry. So I'm going to have to use all the armor tricks that I know and whatever else I can make up. Anyway, gonna be fun.
Greetings, fellow ASL players. I'm Tuomo Lukkari, and I'm today guesting the Illumination Rounds YouTube channel. And to introduce myself, I am the Finnish guy who is famous and responsible for the unpronounceable core module name, Hakkaa Päälle, which now you know how to pronounce. And the thing I'm not famous for is my ability in the ASL table, but I still hope that I can make a good enough competent game with Tom Repetti, my opponent, in a game of Best of Friends 4 about the Shadowy Sides, so that we actually get some conversation going on the ASL, and also I hope that our hosts Martin and Dave will get a good commentary on this one. So let me give me a few quick comments on the scenario, what I think of it. So I will be playing the attacking Russian and Tom will be Germans. So first, a quick overview of the Russian order of battle. So I am playing with 447 squads. John Hill, the base level that John Hill put into the game. I have 12 of them, and these guys have a generous for the time period ELR rating of 3. But of course, it means that we also the game is 8 turns long. So in the end of the day, I expect many of these guys to ELR, but at least that is better than you normally get in Russian in the early war. Then if we turn our sights in the leadership department, we have a commissar, 90 commissar, who is I'm not that comfortable with having Mr. Commissar here because the game is 8 turns long, and it means that I'm going to be rallying these troops over and over with Commissar. And of course, he can be very efficient, but also a couple of high rolls will mean more conscripts and even more casualties. So let's see how our game with the comrade goes here. The other leader is the unsung hero of ASL, 7-0 leader. Nothing special, nothing, but also able to do steady rallying job of the troops and sometimes even help a key move to go as far as I can. Then we can have a look at the support weapon department, and I have a single light machine gun. Well, that's a nice additional thing, a key area of the attack, but nothing to cheer about. Then I have a medium machine gun, which, as the Russian machine gun, medium machine gun is heavy, is B11, and doesn't have much firepower and range. So I don't know how much use I'm gonna get out of it, but I will try to get it in the position. And if I don't get it in the position, that's the first thing I'm gonna drop when going forward in this scenario. And the last support weapon is the mortar, which is, I think, the most important support weapon in this scenario, because I can use this as a long-range tool to interdict Tom's reinforcements that come on board 19. Otherwise, I really don't have any long-range weapons which could help him. So I mean, this is one of the pieces I'm going to be moving the position in the board scene. Then the last thing I want to highlight are the KV2 tanks, Klimbora Shield tanks, which are the centerpiece of the scenario. And of course, they have formidable armor, they are big, and they have a big gun. But they are slow, and the gun doesn't have any rate of fire or intensive fire, so it's a one-shot per fire phase weapon, which means that I will be using these guys as an intimidation, meaning that I will drive them close to a position which I want the German get uncomfortable with and acquire that, and I hope that the Germans will vanish and I can open up the game for my infantry that way. And I will be also trying to keep these 2 of these tanks I have together, just to make sure that the German armor doesn't get any funny ideas, and also that they kind of form the backbone of my attack and to support the infantry. Then, if we have a look at this setup Tom has provided me, so he has, of course, a generous amount of dummies in top of his forces, which are not that impressive. There is only 1 machine gun and and a wounded leader, and then mix it back of multi-man counters where the second line half squad is the best one he has. And I would say that these setups in these areas are kind of some stuff I would expect. And then he has created a couple of positions that one of these three contains the machine gun. And my plan is, of course, to intimidate. So the KBs will be moving in the positions which will be able to hit these hexes or locations in the first movement phase, and then when I get rid of the dummies and concealments, then I will adjust my TV foreseeable usage accordingly when I really see it, because half of that stuff is dummies. The thing that raises my eyebrows here a bit is these two stacks, which are in the side of a map. I have never played Tom. I don't know his play style, and so these could be dummies for sniper bait. These could be multi-man counters that are grabbing back buildings in the end game, and mess my rallying chances. But I'm not gonna really pay too much attention to them in the beginning. I will observe how they behave, and based on that, I might use some of my force to get rid of them if it really seems that they are something that is on my harm my troops. But it also good that Tom is just trying to throw the Finnish dude off, so that's why I'm going to not pay too much attention to them in the beginning moves. All right, that's it. Now we start to play against Tom, and I am really enthusiastic to see how he plays and how this turns out. So over and out. Thank you.
Okay, so we've heard both from both players as to the setups. So Martin, do you have any thoughts that spring to mind?
Well, the first thought that springs to mind really is that wood that is between boards 17 and 19. I tend to agree that that's quite important, that just defending the buildings will allow the Russians to move too quickly through the centre of the board.
Yep.
So I think that's it's quite nice to see Tom sort of set up in some strength.
Yep.
Over there. And then, of course, he's got what looks like it might be a bit of a stronghold in the P4 building.
Yep.
That can hold out for a little while. You can do a little thing with the Germans. You can, whatever the, as long as you can keep concealed, as whatever the, you can kind of move around a little bit and try to avoid their acquisition. Perhaps once those tanks get close to it.
Yep. Yeah.
In terms of Tuomo, I mean, he's ignoring the counter in H0 on board 17. He's just going to go straight in down the middle, and I think that's probably the right thing to do, really.
Yeah. So when you and I played, so I was interested to see Tom's Z2 unit. Now we know these guys are dummies, but obviously Tuomo doesn't know that, and that's not a terrible idea, I suppose. But they are way out of the building, way out of the game, and I guess the best case they could be is if they were a 4-3-6 or something like that, they're going to get 6 hex range, but no more than that. Now when we played, I did go for this X6 building here that's sitting on its own, just as a catch up. But I was very aware that the tanks were going to make mincemeat out of anything that is left undefended, and I think it's maybe a bit of a trap to even go up for that kind of stuff. I think the Russians have to keep everything very tight and together.
I think the difficulty I've a little bit got with the Z2, and as you say, we know that they're dummies. Obviously, Tuomo won't know that. He won't know if there's a half squad or a full squad there or something. Is that Tom's going to be able to bring something on that side of the board anyway later? So I'm not quite sure. I don't understand exactly what it's achieving.
Yeah,
it doesn't
look
like Tuomo is sort of taking the bait anyway. It looks like he's going to, kind of ignore it. So
Yeah, I agree. And in terms of the scenario, I remember thinking, it's not often that you get to face such a weak defending force.
No.
There really is nothing to fear for this at all, is there?
No.
It's, we played and I just charged. If I was the Russians, I charged forward. And I mean, that you did have a couple of 2-down-2 shots, but it really is, that's the worst you're going to get. Yeah. And almost everything you reveal is giving you so much more information that it's, from the Russians' point of view, just
and so if the Russians have a couple of squads break,
yep.
they've still got 10 more.
Yep.
And they'll rally and come back anyway. So it's worth being as aggressive as possible, I think, as the Russians.
I like Tom's thinking about getting that fire lane, from this hex in the middle here, and it's quite an elaborate kind of maneuver. He's taking advantage of the hip 10-2 leader, who's
0-9, is it? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, he's because he's wounded, isn't he?
Yeah.
And that's quite clever. It's I think he's done a good job of hiding where the machine gun is. I'd have naturally thought that he'd be up in the building up here.
And I think that's where I put it. But actually, I did use the light machine gun in a similar way. Those sort of hexes like N8 and 09 are good places for it to eventually go to, a machine gun eventually to go to.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's see what happens, and we'll chat about it as we think.
Okay.
Okay. So let's see what happens here. So we're going to skip through, and we'll try and stop at interesting points to see what happens here.
Yeah.
Okay. So
he's going straight out there with the tanks.
Yep.
As far as they can go.
And there's the reveal here. Now, I'm assuming he is crew exposed there, because that looks like a lot of movement points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 there.
He was clearly crew exposed at the beginning, yeah.
Okay. Although, we don't necessarily see.
No, of course, because he's.
So even that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's.
I think when he was concealed, he was obviously crew exposed, and he's buttoned up just before.
Okay, all right.
Must have happened.
Okay. And on the Russian squads here, Russians.
Yeah.
Now these guys should be seen here, shouldn't they? From the guys up in this P4 building.
Has he already revealed? Those are the ones he revealed, are they?
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They should be. Yeah, should certainly be revealed. Yeah. In fact, in our game they were revealed, weren't they?
They were, exactly. They are now. Yeah. So these are. I think these are getting revealed.
It might be that the ones in E9 are protected by the woods and the building.
Okay.
But those have been revealed. And the thing is, they got a stack of 3 there, and they're really safe.
Yes. Yeah.
Even the machine gun we know is dismantled, so it's only a light machine gun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this pretty much looks almost identical to our game, didn't it? It's.
Yeah. The only thing that I think is different to our game is that I suspect, he's got the medium machine gun up there, which I didn't have, is I suspect that one of those KVs is going towards N8, and I don't think you took yours that way.
Right.
You took both of yours down to the wooden building, didn't you?
Right.
But, we'll see.
Okay, so it looks like a bit of a firing going on for acquisition here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you were defending here as the Germans, were you happy to see me kind of firing at concealed guys and things like that, because potentially breaking the gun, or were you nervous enough?
I think so. As long as you kind of got plans to move, and we know Tom's planning to move that medium machine gun, so the acquisition isn't going to help the Russians. But of course, we also know Tuomo is planning to use those to force him out of positions,
right?
To put pressure on him, and that's exactly what he's doing with them.
Yep. And as we know as well, you can always get a double one as well with those shots. They hurt.
Exactly. Yeah.
They do hurt. Okay. So a little bit of movement going on then. So a bit of skulking as expected from the Germans. This is interesting. So taking a shot back here to try and go for acquisition. Makes sense. Now the sniper numbers here are quite good, aren't they? Was it 2 and was it 3 for that? It was only 3 actually, so it's not too bad.
So it's German sniper is 3, the Russians are just 2.
Yeah, so it's not terrible to be taking these kind of shots. But yeah, I mean, all in all, that looks fairly reasonable from the Germans. Nothing silly. Now,
where do you think the medium machine gun is now?
If I was, I mean, you'd assume. I think it would be sitting up here in M9, wouldn't you? I don't know.
M9, yeah, or 09, where the leader was the
right back here.
Sealed -2 leader.
Yeah.
-1 leader. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, he's prep fired.
Yep. Bit more acquisition. And I don't think that's a terrible thing to be sitting there doing. It's just the problem is that there's a lot of skulking options, isn't there? For the.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the first building. We got the first building there.
And I guess that one was always going to fall quite easily.
Yeah. If you don't get that one as the Russians, you're in all sorts of trouble.
So I like this attack, though. This attack seems very, very solid.
Right.
You know, he's going to push Tom out of the woods, isn't he?
Right.
He's not crossing the open ground where we think the medium machine gun can protect.
Right.
Protect him.
And
finish his movement. Yeah, he may well head that way.
What do you think about this opportunity fire down here in G4?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, right. So that's right. Okay, so that's to fire at the units in J2 if they, because he's about to move, isn't he? He's about to move that group.
Yeah.
And that's what that's for. Oh, it's not a bad use for the medium machine gun. It's got into that position.
Yeah, I don't love that. I would rather have seen even an advance, assault move and an advance in. I don't know if you can be that scared of.
Two, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but it's.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So there's your. Now, interesting again that these guys haven't lost. Oh, these guys are downstairs now, so there's no revealing of anything.
Now he could have got them revealed from 09.
Right.
Assuming that there are real units there.
Yep.
But he's obviously. It seems that Tom wants to. In fact, even from Q6.
Yep.
His inline sight there. He's obviously chosen not to reveal. Do you think it's now obvious that J2 is a dummy?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I don't think you get away with that. But now, so is Tom going to lay the fire lane that he was planning to lay here? This looks.
Well, he hasn't yet.
Oh,
he has.
Okay. So this is a great call in from Tom, who called this fire lane early on with the leader. That's nice, isn't it? He's caught them out there, and I guess the only problem there is it doesn't really stop very much, but the tanks aren't going to go and give him any problems.
Yeah.
So he passes the morale check.
Yeah.
And I guess we're going to see a wall of Russians line up against the hex before the. Okay, so here goes the futile 1 down 2s here, and double 6s aren't going to help here.
I seem to remember taking similar.
Yes.
Similar shots.
Yeah. Here comes another one. Oh, okay. This one's nicer.
Oh, that one's better. Yeah. It's actually had an effect.
Yeah. So that's a cash reduction ELR break. It's nice.
That's really a squad down, isn't it?
Yes, it's pretty much. Yeah. Okay. All right. A little bit advancing fire. Reveals a bunch of dummies.
And a leader.
That's. I mean, so that's a.
To be a dummy.
Yeah, I guess that's a good use of the leader in a way to take up that much fire. But
so I had him back to an attempt to rally things, but actually 6+1 leader trying to rally conscripts, it's may not. Chances are it really worked out anyway.
Yep.
And of course that leader can strip concealment and things like that. So.
Yep. And then we get rid of the dummy down the bottom there as well. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, he must have done an advancing fire shot against that, presumably.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, so we've got. So this is turn 2 at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
A little bit of concealment gain. On come the German reinforcements. So now this is interesting, bringing the reinforcements on so far to the right of the board here. This looks.
I don't think he's set up yet, is he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. That'd be interesting.
So yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised to see them that far to the right.
So I brought mine on pretty much where the ones on the left are.
That's right. Yeah, and that seems right because the Russians haven't got any long range weapons there other than maybe the mortar that might be able to take a shot. And I think the mortar is up here, isn't it, in Z10?
Yeah.
So that's quite a nice spot for the mortar.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Oh, so did he just take a? Did he get a KIA there on the X2? Let's back up there a little bit. What do we see there? So we had a. Oh, you know what? We've got. This is the vassal bug here. I think there's a 247 that's about to start running.
Right.
Running down.
It loses concealment in the normal way.
Yeah, loses concealment and then gets taken out by the first firing guy. Now we had this bug as well, didn't we? I'm on the newer vassal. It's a beta version of the newest vassal. And so we had
counters still disappearing, didn't we?
Just like that. We've just seen them. Yeah. So we'll try and keep an eye out for any that go missing. So here comes the mortar now taking a shot.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's an effect.
Yeah, it keeps right as well.
Very good position for the mortar.
Yeah.
And in fact, he's got another squad up there sort of supporting it while going for the wooden building, presumably.
Right.
Very effective. Well, it's been effective.
Yeah.
Most have got through.
Okay. Yeah, so these guys here aren't making a lot of progress. I don't like the reinforcements up in the top right. For the Germans.
You're not sure what they're achieving at the moment.
No, and if you can see how much progress these guys are making at the back here, even though they've been taken out by the mortarists, I don't think.
I mean, are they going to marry up with the tanks? And I don't know. I'm not sure whether that'd be a good thing, really, because you've actually got the two KVs are kind of not in a bad position to take on tanks coming on that side.
Right.
I mean, are they hoping to sort of force the Russians to leave some of their force behind to protect what they've already gained?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I think as we saw, this building here, this little kind of trappy building that the Russians can go for. The Germans can take it back fairly easily with those tanks.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of the game, you can just send one squad and run it over, and the Russians are generally concerned with the areas down here. So that seems like a lot of force for not doing very much there. But let's see if they do help out a bit. So if the advances, a little bit of concealment gain.
Yeah.
Those guys are blocked over there.
Yeah.
And we go on to turn 3.
Yeah. Now, when do we have the mid-game discussion? From
end of turn 4, I think.
Okay, right.
So yeah. So we'll hear back from the guys. So yeah, very similar to what happened in our game, isn't it? This kind of charge into the
capturing that wood, taking it very easily.
Yep. Some final fire going on there.
And Tom's obviously, getting his more powerful units out.
Yep.
Using the weaker units to slow them up a little bit.
Yep.
The only way that this is very different to our game is that you made more of an attempt to capture the P4 building at the beginning.
Right.
And we had a proper old fight there.
Yeah, that's right. So another fire lane comes out here. That's nicely placed again, that fire lane.
Very nicely placed, yeah.
That's going to really slow down. Okay, the Russians running through it.
It's almost like Tom's thought it through, and I always think that's almost like cheating, actually doing intelligent things.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? It's a nice place for it here.
Yeah. Having said that, the Russians are clearly past it now, aren't they? And there's
yeah. Okay, so yeah, he's firing.
There's a real build up on that P4 building.
Well, that's a good check there, line of sight there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's revealing the leader. So I don't mind. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, can that German mortar reach hit much from there?
So
it can defend.
13 extra 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so it's got a kind of the edge here. It's quite a nice spot for it.
Most of what it can see, it can hit actually. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I don't. This isn't awful. I just don't like these two guys here, but
yeah.
Maybe they're gonna come back and show us. So okay, yeah, the Germans falling back against the advancing fire. Russians making good progress. Another building there captured.
Yeah.
So I would say that the Russians are on schedule here.
Russians are doing well here, I'd say, yeah.
Yeah. And on come now your tanks, Martin. Where did your tanks come on from?
The top
corner.
The white one, and they went down. If you remember, you had a load of broken units in 17I1.
Yeah. Now, are we sure you could do that?
No.
Because it seems like these guys didn't bring theirs down.
Right, so it's the west edge. Okay, so I wouldn't have been able to do that.
So in your game that you cheated, you brought them down this road here, and I was in all sorts of trouble.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
all right.
I couldn't do that. To be fair, you did blow a lot of them up.
I did blow a lot of them up, yeah. But not after you did a lot of damage to my guys.
So it makes perfect sense to bring them on the west side, because that's the only place you're allowed to bring them on.
Yep. Seems like a reasonable idea. So not cheat. He's doing that not cheating method. Okay. So here we go for.
Okay, so prep fire from that building. He's in trouble, isn't he? In P2, that little half squad, I guess.
P2, where we're looking down here. Board. Yeah.
But yeah, he's got some prep fires and nothing else he can do. It's an interesting position for the tank. Yeah, you got them. That reinforcing force gets straight into that wood. Okay, defensive fire.
Oh, okay, so we've got an immobilisation here.
Oh, right, how did that happen? Was that from
Let's go back a bit.
It must have been the mortar.
Oh, the mortar, the mortar's done it, yeah. So, yeah, he's with a 3 there.
Yeah. That's very important so early on, I think, to have one of the tanks already immobilised.
Yes. Yeah. Now we've got... Something's gone... off there. What's happened there?
Removed. The half squad was just removed, and he's been put back.
Okay. So that's what's happened there. He's in a building here, and we had. Do you think that was the tank? The tank's IFT. The tank's. Let's go back a little bit.
Yeah. IFT die roll.
So let's just jump back a second. So with the immobilised one here. And then we have the Russian. Oh, okay. So we've got the Russian here firing at the. I guess it's going to be area target type there.
Uh-huh.
But isn't that a miss anyway on an 8? Because
why does it have to be area target type?
Well, he's rolled an 8.
Oh, I see.
For the to hit.
Yeah.
So infantry target type, that would have been a miss. I think, because it would be 8s and then.
I mean, even area target type, a hit from that gun is devastating.
Yeah, I'm not certain that. Oh, okay. So I don't think that was that one, because now we've got a 5 from the to hit, which is a hit on the area target type.
Right.
That's right, and then you got the 4. Yeah.
Okay. You have noticed that the tanks are named after us, haven't you?
Oh, is that right? I haven't noticed that.
Right, so the southernmost one is called Martin.
Right. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, you're up on kills then at the moment.
I was going to say, I think mine's doing a lot better than yours. There's no question about that.
Yeah, yours is flat track bullying the half squad. Mine's holding line, very importantly. That's very good. Okay, so we have
definitely swinging at the moment in the way of the Russians,
and we got the Blaze as well coming in.
Right. So who controls that building if that building goes up?
Right. So I believe it goes to the Germans because the Russians caused the fire.
Yeah, I believe that.
So I guess it's important for the now. Is that true? If the Russians then take that building and then the flame catches?
My best guess is if they can run through before it catches fire, that the Russians would be the last people controlling it. But we'll find out.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So some more German guys getting DM'd here.
Yeah. Now, they were already broken, weren't they?
Oh, right. Okay.
I think they were already broken.
Okay. All right. So we've got the mortars of. Is this this tank here is firing back at the mortar? I think.
Which it might as well do.
Yes. Yeah. I suppose the good position about this tank is it is protecting this building.
Well, that's true.
It's not doing a terrible job of that.
It's just potentially a victory point if the Russians decide to go for the tanks, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. Start recording. Okay. All right. So let's look on for turn 4 then. So here we go and see what's going on now. So we get. Does he? Yeah. Managed to rally the crew. Russians can't do very much. And this is where that half squad is now. I suppose he's doing a good job there. He's holding them up for an extra turn. He's going to get.
He's potentially going to lose the close combat, isn't he? If he's
he's going to get a fire back first, so he's going to get a chance.
Yeah, that's true. True.
Okay, the Russians are in the building.
I mean, there's potentially 2 points there, isn't there? Tank moving forward, very not reckless, but without
aggressively.
Without fear.
Yeah,
aggressive. That's the word. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, no Panzerfaust. I kept thinking that when we were playing. I wish I'd had Panzerfaust.
Yep. We've got Russians have captured. I don't think they've captured 2 6+1s. I think that's something that's gone a bit strange there.
Yeah.
But we'll leave them there for now. But
yeah.
Oh, they've figured it out.
They've corrected that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that medium machine gun might be trouble, mightn't it? It's starting to look a bit of a dangerous position now.
We've got some fire coming on, presumably from down here, I suppose. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's nice. Yeah. So that's going to be a what's that? 2 down 2. Rolled a KIA there.
Wow.
Yeah. In comes Dave, the big tank, looking menacing. What could go wrong here? Okay, the mortars.
Yeah.
Just hold. A little bit of fire there. You go. So this squad down here is
He's broken one of the Russian squads.
Yeah. So that's looking
it's a little bit more precarious. 2 to 1's not certain, is it?
That's right. Yeah.
4 to 1 feels good. Oh
wait. It's the wrong one. He's got the wrong one.
Just broke the wrong one. Yeah.
And these guys are pinned down here. Okay. Yeah, they're proving stubborn.
Yeah.
Russians break here. It's not a great place to break here, is it?
Really not.
So we get a hit here. Oh, not a hit, probably not, just an acquisition. Oh, that's a nice shot there. There's a nice double one from the advancing fire upstairs, which is actually probably very big because these guys here.
Yeah, that is very big.
Route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we advances. Yeah, they've gone for the close combat there. moving in on the medium machine gun, which is still dangerous, isn't it? It's he's only got a squad and a half and a tank adjacent. I suppose he's most likely to sort of rout away, but it's not rout away, to shrink away.
So Tuomo rolls a 1 and Tuomo rolls a 1. Okay, so it's a bad close combat.
Yeah.
For the
6, 2-1. That's all.
So that's, I think they're going to be okay because it's. I think the Russians rolled a 10, Germans rolled a 6.
Yeah.
So just melee.
Mm-hmm. Where is the commissar? Is he in 06 with the?
I think so. Yeah. Okay.
Things with 4 morale, even with a commissar, there's not a very great chance of them going back, is there?
Right. So we've got, is it 3? Yes, 3 buildings now for the Russians.
1, 2.
There's 1 in the
3, and 2 more disputed, or whatever, 3 more disputed.
Okay, all right. So let's scroll on to the end of
the Germans.
Yeah, so it's German turn 4.
Yeah.
Mortar's block there.
Try. Yeah.
On they come back here. Now, I suppose what this does do is lets the Germans kind of try to approach from both sides, but this mortar is going to do a good job of holding back, potentially 3 squads of the, or 2.5 squads of the.
Well, I think we're pretty sure that the one in Z1 is a dummy.
Is a dummy, yeah.
And then you've got the one squad that's just approached behind the woods.
Right. So so in actual fact, all it was one squad and a half squad for the mortar.
Yeah.
And of course the half squad here was killed as he came on.
Yeah. Right, here he comes.
Yep. What could go wrong here with this guy? Oof.
The bounding fire, he's got double
okay.
Well,
so no heat battle for the tank and no sniper for the Russians. Oof. Well, there's a shot back.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've had a morale check. We had passed morale, so 2 double 1s, no effect.
So, all right, move the medium machine gun. The squad broke. Okay. Now these tanks are coming very close together.
Yeah. Oof.
Now it hasn't seen him for very long.
Right.
So is he going to hit?
So what do we think? This is going to be like a 10 to hit. He's buttoned up for 9s, and he's probably sitting for 1 point.
And his movement.
Yeah.
So it's plus. It's quite a few.
Let's. Okay. That's.
Wow. That's a good result for the Russians.
Yeah. Germans trying to claim this one back again.
Yeah.
Wow. That's very aggressive from the Germans.
Very aggressive, yeah.
Really going for it, aren't they? Yeah. That's interesting. I don't see why they have to be quite so aggressive there.
Mm-hmm.
Running into the residual.
It'd be interesting to hear their discussion in a minute.
Yeah.
And in fact, there was some breaks there as well, running into the residual.
Yeah. Another double 1 here. He's coward, is he off the? I think he's.
Okay, right, yeah. It seems to me that Tom's being very aggressive with those German tanks. And there's a real possibility of losing them.
Yep. So now Tuomo's here at 11 and a 12 with the tanks, which is pretty unlucky. Boy, it shouldn't have happened to Dave. Can you believe that? Look at that.
Dave was always it wasn't properly maintained. It wasn't
Now I thought, did he not fire this?
I thought that
at the tank here.
So how's he managed to fire it again? Because it has no intensive fire.
No, it hasn't. No.
might be that we're missing something, or it might be that that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Anyway, losing one of those big guns is very important. Swings the game back.
Yes. Yeah.
But,
There's more breaks here for the Russians.
The Russians, yeah.
It's crazy in the middle here, isn't it? I mean, this is just a mess. Like everybody wants to.
Everyone wants that territory, don't they?
Now, what's going on here? Why is he pushing his turret backwards here?
Yeah, you might expect the Martin tank to come round.
Here.
Although, to be fair, that gun won't protect it much anyway.
No. Nor will its armour. But
yeah.
So a bit of routing, a bit of advancing. We've got the close combat down here.
Yeah.
So Tom rolls an 8. Tuomo rolls a 7.
No.
So that gets him.
Oh, no, he gets.
Okay, so before we hear Tom and Tuomo's thoughts, what's your thoughts here, Martin, on who's winning this and who's losing?
Okay, well, I think that the Russians they're on just 4 buildings. They need 9. They're actually making reasonably good, steady progress towards winning it in that way. 2 of the German tanks look very, very vulnerable, though. I think the malfunction makes it hard for the Russians to take advantage of that. They've only got 1 tube now to go around tank hunting.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might still have it a little bit pro-Russian at the moment.
Yeah, so we're assuming that this building here, the P4 building, is going to fall. Looks like R5 is going to fall. Looks like S4 is going to fall.
Yeah,
that gives them the 3. I mean, P9 is in no. I assume he's probably going to be Russian controlled by the end of it, but not guaranteed. There's a reasonable sized force coming in.
Yeah.
In there.
There's a real battle developing over P9, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. But then I'm struggling to see how the Russians are going to get past.
Yeah.
Assuming they're going to take these 3 here, this one's going to be a fight. So we'll give them that one for 4.
Yeah.
Where's that 5th building going to come from?
So is this going to become a game of KVs chasing Mark IVs?
Right, and that's exactly what happened with ours, wasn't it? Where I decided I couldn't get the buildings at a certain point.
Yeah.
And you called it, to be fair, you called it right at the start of the scenario. Do you remember what you said about it? You said it was going to be like a Benny Hill scenario where you'd be running away from my tanks.
Yeah.
And it's kind of what happened, wasn't it? That's the end.
That is exactly what happened, yeah.
All right, let's hear what Tom has to say, and then Tuomo has to say as well.
All right, here's my mid-game commentary. I know we both think we're losing, but I'm right. I've had some luck delaying his infantry in the town, but he's got 4 turns left to make that up, and I really don't have much to stop him. I'm going to have to try to retake 17P9 and hold W3, W4 in order to win. If I can threaten I8, that would help, but I'm going to need my remaining mobile tanks to do some good things, and I keep doing stupid things with them, like taking this guy and making him CE and getting stunned that way. So, not good. The dice gods are just teasing me with that Malft MA here. But that's important. I think a lot depends on what happens with that tank. If its main armament comes back, then I'm really in trouble because I can't use my tanks to retake buildings. If he tries to repair it and rolls a 6 and it's recalled, then I'm doing okay. I think I'll be able to take the buildings I need. If I'm Tuomo, and I am, I just keep the KV2 around as a mobile machine gun platform and push to take the rest of the buildings. But we will see what the other Tuomo does.
All right, fellow ASL players, Tuomo Lukkari here, and I'm commenting the game with Tom Repetti after 4 turns. We have played 1 session and we have a next session coming up. So far, this has been a very interesting fight. I have managed to push myself into the village, suffering some losses, but I'm in good shape of taking most of the village. And right now I am controlling 1 2, 3, 4 building hexes. Here I will mob up a couple of more, so I will be at 6, and then I can basically try and get myself into this area as well, which would fulfill the victory condition. But the problem is that Tom actually, I was assuming he would make a big push with the reinforcements in this area and then try to keep the village, has actually put most of the reinforcements into area around these wood clumps here, which has actually put me into a very confused fight into the woods and has drained my infantry power. So we have a few things here going. For instance, there is a 6+1 captured leader who has managed to tie up one of my conscript house squads melee and things like that. So even though I most probably will be able to fulfill the victory condition, if I lose the fight in the woods, it means that Tom can actually attack many or most of the buildings in the middle board, and that actually is going to cause me a lot of trouble, because then I might end up losing enough real estate to lose the scenario. So my game plan is to attack, take the buildings, and then during the next 2 turns and during the last 2 turns to defend my position and even make counterattacks. The good thing is that I have the last move, so basically I can then try to see if I can get something back in my last movement phase. During my pre-game commentary, I told that the KV2s are the centerpiece of the scenario, and I would slightly or quickly like to comment on their performance. I have 2 KV2 tanks here, which are by the name of Martin and Dave. So those are your average Russian tank names. And to comment on the performance of Martin first, Martin has been doing satisfactorily okay. He has been keeping this wood line clear of all the Germans, so I have had no problems in operating in the center of the village with my infantry. So that is fine, and that has been fine. On the other hand, Dave's performance is not what I have expected. As Tom was driving his tank here, crew exposed, Dave managed to shock the tank and stop the tank. But then when it came to shooting tanks, Dave failed miserably. He first didn't pack any AP rounds, and that wasn't a big deal, because of course these guys can kill a Panzer IV-D with even a high explosive. But then the bad thing was that the gun malfunctioned. And now I don't know. I really hope that Dave will fix the gun so that I don't have to do any corrective actions regarding Dave's performance in this scenario. Okay, thanks all, and then we will battle it out and let's see what comes out of
it. Okay, all right. So it's very good from Tuomo there. My performance.
I think maybe a new nickname for you, Malfunction Dave.
Let's see if I repair that gun. Let's see. Okay. So it was a good. Okay, so it's a good catch. So obviously, what he uses machine guns there to stun the tank, and then the 2 to hits. Obviously, it was the AP and then the HE. We may have stopped the scenario a little bit too soon, because I don't think we're going to see this melee that's going to take place in P8. So I assume what's going to happen is the leader is going to pass his task check and
yes, yeah, exactly, yeah,
get into melee there. So I mean, interesting. We another clarification there. It's building hexes, not buildings, that the Russians have got to claim. So it's a good lesson for me, Martin, to read the scenario card rather than rely on you telling me what's going on.
I said building hexes.
Oh, did you? I apologise. I'm sorry.
I believe I did.
No, I'm sure you did. I went through the whole scenario. It doesn't make any difference. I went through the whole scenario thinking it was build-ins. I don't think it makes
the whole scenario thinking it was okay for me to bring tanks on from the north. So.
Yeah. Exactly. It doesn't matter. I
don't think it's. We were sort of playing to get a sense of it for this weren't we, for this commentary?
Heaven help that we play a scenario correctly. I mean, let's be honest. And do you know what? It makes me think how many scenarios I've gone back and reviewed and thought, well, that was not great. I played it completely wrong. No one's going to check.
Absolutely.
No one's going to confirm.
We'll never know.
Exactly.
Let's assume we played them right.
Exactly. All right. So I like I said, I think the Germans are winning here. You were edging towards the Russians.
I was edging towards the Russians.
And I haven't seen the end of the game, and I don't think you've seen the end of the game yet. So we don't know.
That, perhaps there isn't really time for the tanks to, for the Russians to actually kill enough tanks. That's probably the other sort of difficulty they've got, isn't it?
That's true. But they have got some decent targets in the mobile one, and the stunned one is not terrible to go for.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess this is some consumer gains, and now we're on to turn 5. Okay, so let's have a look then. So we've got a double 6 going on for the rally, which is never good.
It's never good, no.
Never good.
And we're going for still doing rallies, aren't they? So it's the German rallies.
Okay, so Russian prep fire.
Prep fire.
Oh, is he going after the dummy there?
Yeah. So did they try to repair the main armament, presumably, and fail? I didn't see it.
I didn't see it. There was a 5 rolled.
Yeah, that'd probably be that then.
So he did try. Okay. Would you try to repair it?
Probably not.
Yeah. It's one of those. It's a really swingy thing, isn't it? To pass that and get that main armament fixed again is.
And here he is using it like very effectively. Anyway, I mean, of course, very effectively to sort of put some pressure on the Germans.
It's worth mentioning, isn't it, that by SSR, crews and vehicle crews can't gain control of the buildings.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So,
yes, he's certainly being aggressive here, surrounding them. Got the good tank facing down the Germans,
and you've got that nice rear machine gun as well, haven't you? So you've got these two tanks here. This guy's looking in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have 2 more hexes for the Russians here.
So he did the mopping up, didn't he?
Yep, that's right.
And there we go. There's another one captured, and they can advance into that flame if it doesn't burst into flame.
That's right. Yeah.
It's all about this fight in the north, I think, really. That important P9 building.
Russians pulling back here.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. So there's the critical hit there.
Oh, wow.
From Martin the tank.
Yeah. Yeah, that tank named Martin has been
Now we've got pin check, which generates a warm sniper. Oh,
yeah.
Waste a double 1 on the on the distance direction. Oh, the sniper then. Look at that. The sniper has taken out the leader that was in melee.
Yeah. Of course, the Russians also have a point on the tank victory conditions now as well.
Right. Yep. So in theory, you only need. So we've captured another 2 building hexes.
Yes.
So what do we think that number is now? Let's just.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yep. I got 8.
I make it. Yeah.
So
he needs one more.
One more he needs. Where's that going to come from?
He's got to hang on to the ones he's got.
Yeah, which doesn't look terrible apart from that P. This
P9's the problem.
Yeah.
If he loses that, he's got to capture 2, hasn't he?
That's right. Yeah, which are going to be tricky. This is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks.
Absolute beautiful movement through the village. I think this last turn or 2.
Yep.
Just mopped everything. Timing's good.
Okay, so we got turn 5 for the
Germans. Yeah.
Germans. Some prep firing going on. The mortars. Okay, round the tanks come.
And that's putting the... Oh, is that an overrun? Oh, no, just adjacent. But that's actually now quite a concerted attack against the I8 building, isn't it?
Right.
Is it possible for them both to be doing really well?
I thought he was going to go the other way. I thought he was going to say both doing really badly. They are both doing well. It's an absolutely nail biting finish, really, isn't it?
Cause, yeah. Very different actually to the way ours went in the stage by this stage in the game. The Germans being so aggressive there, but they've recaptured that building.
Yep.
They got the 9-, the 10.
Yeah, I mean you can't see the Russians getting this building back, can you?
No, that's over. And there's a realistic chance of them losing I8 now. It's almost like a race to take buildings.
Tom just doesn't care there about the residual with the 9-1. He's getting stuck in. Oh, let me get some breaks.
Very aggressive.
Yeah. Oh, that was painful.
That was painful.
Do you know what? Now this reminds me of the start of my scenario against you.
Yeah.
Where I threw men and men and men against these guys in the same position here at the start of this woods.
Now, do you think Tom needs to be as aggressive as that?
I don't think so. I don't see. I thought he was looking good to hold that line.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's still got a good chance of holding that building. He's still got the medium machine gun in there with the -1 leader,
right?
A tank in support.
Yep.
The broken units in a sense don't.
Really I think that's all he needed in there. I think.
Yeah. I think he's trying to get it home, isn't he? If he got through there, he would be in a very strong position to push the Germans out of the woods altogether.
Right. Some good routing away there for the Russians. Yeah. We've got these guys are still okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got a nice rally here in turn 6, a 1-1.
Yeah.
Generates them 6+1 leader. So coming into penultimate turn, really.
Right, disruption in the W3 building. But he's got to get there.
He's off and running. Wow.
Looks like he's going to do that.
This was important here. This the conscript over here got disrupted.
Yeah.
So they're going to lose that. Oh, there's an overrun going on there. Oof, yep.
Wow. Yeah, so it's falling apart over here. So he's going to be potentially regaining 1, 2, 3, 4 buildings, perhaps.
The Russians, is this?
Yeah, potentially. In fact, the ones after that are not defended. So maybe that's why Tom was being so aggressive, because he kind of felt like he needed to capture buildings on the eastern side.
Do the Russians have time to get to CC3? They've got 1 turn left.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh no, 2 turns left. They've got 7 and 7.5.
Potentially. I mean, they've not got much that far forward, so yeah, maybe not.
Some mortar fire coming in from here.
Yeah.
Mortars there has done very well.
Yeah. Well, I can't even call this. This is becoming a bit nail biting.
Yeah, it's very tight, isn't it?
Yeah.
I should say that we'll put the log file up for people to download if they want to. I'll attach it in the scenario archives playthrough of one of the scenarios. I know there's I'll do it on the MMP one. So Tuomo hits, or Tom actually, sorry, hits there with a 3. I assume it's over here. Maybe here. Russians firing back. So I think these guys are going to have to surrender, aren't they? Disrupted guys will surrender.
I think they will do, yeah.
Yeah, there they go.
It's taken that.
So another 2 buildings, hexes. And the Germans have got one back, haven't they? So
yes, so they've now got. Well, they've got back the P9 one. They haven't yet got I8.
So do we think this is still? Do we think this is still 8 hexes?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it's now 1, 2. 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, you're right.
Now that's assuming. It looks like they're in agreement with us with the rule that the Russians can now control that building even if it goes up in flames.
Right.
No, I'm not 100% sure about that.
Okay, all right.
But 9's enough anyway, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
So now the Germans are going to have to try and catch something back again.
Yeah. And in actual fact, they look set to lose more.
Although this building back here in
The
I8.
I8 building they might capture, but they've got nothing. Everything's broken around. All the Germans are broken around.
Right.
Oh no, they've
got the half squad in M10. Another overrun coming in.
Yeah. Wow.
It's a very good overrun.
Yeah.
Oof.
So I8 will inevitably fall. Yeah.
Now, okay, I didn't think he could do that, as he fired his machine guns and had an overrun.
Well, he must have overrun the first.
Yeah, I didn't think you could fire and overrun at the same after you've overrun.
You can overrun more than once, but you can't fire and overrun.
Right. Yeah, we might need to check that. I'm sure these guys are better players than us, but
actually it's collapsing, isn't it, on the eastern side there for the Russian, and it's collapsing on the western side for the Germans.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Some smoke coming in. Germans going to try and reclaim.
Well, he hasn't fired the medium machine gun yet, has he? Saving that for fire, I guess. Oh, wow. It's of course no. Sorry, it's frozen, isn't it? Sorry.
Yeah. So,
and do you know what it's pinned? It's probably because he tried to street fight it when he came in. Wow. Yeah, the Germans are off recapturing buildings all over the place.
Wow.
This is a much better game than ours.
Well, this is why this one is the premier game and ours is the underbilling, underfight. We're lower down on the card. Although we should have gone first to give people a warm up. Yeah. Another snake eyes there coming in from Tom. Yeah. Some routing. Okay, so there's one building back. Another one back here.
Wow. That was a very good turn for the Germans.
Yeah.
Interesting to see how the close combat works out.
So here we go. So there's a close combat here. So Tom's rolled a 4. So I think that's enough because he's 1-1 there. What's going on? Oh, yeah. So there's the medium machine gun position falls.
Okay. I don't think it's going Russians' way now.
No. On to turn 7.
Even the prisoners becoming a bit of a problem now.
Tanks coming in. So I guess now this is where the tanks start to fight to try and go for the tank victory condition. But I can't see it's going to be enough for the Russians.
He's going to struggle, isn't he, to get it in the time. His crew exposed, so he's definitely going for it. Oh, he's pumped up now.
So we got the melee, and I believe that's the end of the game. There, that's where it's
right.
That's where it's called. All right, let's see the guys' comments, and then we'll chime in with ours.
Wow, that was crazy. I was pretty damn demoralized. At one point during the German turn 5 movement phase, Tuomo had 9 IFT die rolls that averaged 5.3, and I had 7 morale checks that had averaged 9.3. As I was trying to break into this area over here and just, eating resid, and I thought it was worth the gamble, and I just kept paying the price. So I was extremely hurting. I was completely ready to throw it in, but we both kind of wondered if it was at all salvageable because we had already put so much time into playing, and by God it was. So I routed some guys back and tried to cover them as well as I could. And in fact, what I'm showing here is the point at which I think the game turned. This is the Russian turn 6 movement phase, and here Tuomo's got his squad and leader that just came from this hex. And I think if they had made an effort to get up here and DM these guys, then the game would have been over. That's why the minute they moved into this hex, I pivoted with my tank and tried to bring them under fire. But and I would have intensive fired too to try to stop that. But as it was, just the one shot was enough to scare those Russians off, and they continued on south, and that let me rally everybody in the next turn. And then I went on my own lucky streak and got a key smoke discharger roll where I needed it in P5. And then, of course, nailing that KV2 in bounding fire when the final to kill number was a 4. That was totally satisfying after that same tank nailed one of my guys with a critical hit in advancing fire like 2 turns prior. So there you have it. Tuomofest 2020, a complete success. Everybody's a winner. Nobody's a loser. Tuomo Lukkari and I continue to forge our bond of Tuomo-ness that spans 9 time zones, and maybe the only thing that's keeping the whole world together right now. Huzzah to my fellow Tuomo. Well played, sir, and I'm sure we'll do this again real soon.
Hello, and it's Tuomo Lukkari here for the last time, commenting on this scenario we played with Tom Repetti. So now it has ended, and I lost my last movement phase of turn 8, and the game actually turned out pretty much how I predicted. So I managed to fulfill the victory condition, but still after that Tom had enough infantry, and I didn't have enough troops remaining to keep all the things I had. So in the end of the day, I lost the required buildings on turn 7, and on turn 8 I made a couple of desperate moves to get myself back into those buildings, but that didn't work out because during the close combat phase my last troops were shot to pieces. It was a very good game. It was a very interesting game. This scenario has multiple options, and we no doubt will see a lot of discussion after this episode is finished. Tom had to use all his forces to the maximum. For instance, there were Berserk squads after K/1 results. There was a Panzer IV making a 3-point ESB attempt, so we kind of played it to the fullest so before he could claim his victory. The last thing is then the centerpiece of the scenario, tanks, called David and Martin. And during the last few turns, as you can see, Martin has been destroyed by a rear shot by a German tank, but before that Martin actually destroyed one of the German tanks with a bounding fire critical hit, and also made an over here on a German squad. So Martin actually performed finally before his ultimate demise on the last movement phase, German movement phase on a bounding fire shot. Then on the other hand, Dave, I still hope to get his main armament back for the last movement phase, so I could have blasted this guy out of the hex and made my victory more easy. But unfortunately, Dave decided to malfunction the gun, and that kinda sealed my fate here. So I must say that this one went to 1 point to Martin and 0 points to Dave. And that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed this little game with Tom, and let's see if we ever do something again. Thank you. Over and out.
All right, so a good wrap up. A harsh appraising of Dave the Tank, I think. Harsh.
I think it's brilliant naming the tanks after us. I thought that was an absolute genius move.
Yep.
It reminded me of when you used to name your tanks after my children.
Yeah, you always did.
Didn't stop them getting blown up, mate. But...
It didn't. It took the light. So I think we realised that Tom didn't fire twice in his overrunning thing. I think he just DM'd the squads there, and then
I think he did an overrunning M7, didn't he? Then he moved into bypass.
And it was a really good counter-attack, wasn't it, at the end there from Tom?
Amazing counter-attack and so effective, yeah.
And you were saying that what we'd criticised early on is actually what kind of won it for Tom towards the end.
I think so, yeah, because you initially drew attention to him bringing some of the reinforcements on the right-hand side and thinking that was perhaps a poor use of the force. And when we both thought he was being too aggressive around sort of T10, N10, that kind of area where he was pushing forward. But actually, that very aggressive push is why he was able to recapture I8.
Yep.
And in fact, why the Russian position over that side collapsed completely, didn't it?
That's right. Russians got a bit unlucky, and they I felt like they with a little bit of luck. I think Tom's analysis was very good. In terms of the troops on the right hand side of that those woods really kind of just did change the game a little bit because I didn't see the Germans retaking I8 at all. So it's a very good scenario, isn't it? It's a very
good.
It's a tough one. We should replay R1 just to show people what happened on R1. But Tom and Tuomo, well done. That was a great scenario, and we haven't done it justice in our commentary.
Absolutely, such an exciting end as well.
It was really good. But thank you very much, guys, for doing that. Thanks for taking the time to give us your comments. We think it was a really good scenario. We'll show you our game very, very briefly. So let's just hang on a second. All right, guys. So here is Martin and I's game of the same scenario, played at very quick speed. This is
and we make one big mistake, don't we, with me bringing the tanks on from the
north. But
we've already mentioned that. But
exactly. But don't worry about that. So you can see.
Actually, very similar start in a way to Tuomo's.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Come flying in, taking the buildings.
Yeah.
Your guys come rushing down.
Mm-hmm. And actually, I'm unmolested, aren't I? And they all come on together using the leadership to kind of progress there. And then I get really cheeky with the tanks, especially as you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah. So what was interesting about our game, and like I say, we're whipping through this really, really quick because we don't want to take too long doing this one. But the difference was that I figured out at quite an early point, I think that I wasn't going to get all the buildings. Although you can see I get all the way to the back here, but I wasn't going to get a lot more. I decided to start going after tanks.
Yeah, and you were doing well.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd taken out 2 tanks. I think at this point I'd taken out 2, and then your berserker started attacking my tank, and I knew that I just had to take one more tank out to win the game really. And you were running them away, and so basically I got my 2 tanks immobilized. This one immobilized back here with an ESB roll, but to get the chance of a shot against you in motion. So then took the shots. I think I missed with both the tanks at the end there, and then in my last kind of fire phase, I blew up the tank.
Yeah.
And
now I'm this this point, aren't I?
You're losing. You basically given up. I think you would have pretty much.
Very, very close to giving up. Yeah.
Yeah, you were. We were just kind of desperately trying to play it because I know you had to go to do stuff.
Yeah.
And then you managed to get a crew, a full squad onto my tank, and you rolled a 3 for close combat, and you beat me with the killing the tank in the end. So it was a very, very good close game.
It was what I expected. I thought it'd be more likely I'd do that with the immobile one, but yeah,
exactly.
It was close.
It was. So that was good fun. We've now got a couple of bits and pieces. So first things first, we'd like to do the draw. We got the result. Literally just came in live of the last quarterfinal. So Martin, you're going to do in FIFA World Cup style. You are going to do the draw for the semi-final of the first Illuminating rounds tournament.
Okay. So these bits of there's no expense spared here. These scraps of paper,
hot bits and cold bits.
4 names of the people who've gone through to the quarterfinals,
semi-finals.
Thank you. So here we go. So the first draw is
playing at home.
Rich.
Okay. All right, Richard.
Playing Dwayne.
Okay.
Rich v Dwayne.
All right, and then
I really need to pull these, do I?
Well, just for authenticity, John Eves, yeah.
John Eves will be playing Mr. Ramsey, Dave Ramsey.
Okay, good stuff. All right, we will figure out that. I'll send out emails and bits and pieces to everybody there. We are going to play, Martin. Now we've picked a scenario, haven't we? What have we picked for the final semi-final?
Yeah, I've all about this. Okay, so we picked. Is it Berated Baranovic?
Yes.
No, so I beg Berated at Baranovici, which is from Onslaught to Orsha. You've got Onslaught to Orsha, haven't you?
I have. I've got the original. Yep.
I've got Onslaught to Orsha too.
Yep. And you... Did you set that up?
You see what I did there? Yeah.
I did see what you did.
So it's Onslaught to Orsha 32 in Onslaught to Orsha 2, OTO 32, Berated at Baranovici. And the Russians have a nice bunch of very powerful looking tanks, Mobier versus a obviously late-ish war German force, which doesn't have any, has some good guns. So it looks like a good one.
Very good. And we're going to do our Patreon giveaway as well. So we've got our patrons. We've got them listed alphabetical order from your first names 1 to 42. Martin, can you give us a random number from random.org?
Okay, random.org. So I've got a minimum of 1 and a maximum of 42. I'm going to hit generate now.
Yeah, we can check your glasses to make sure you're doing this right.
So number 4.
Number 4. Oh, I should get the names up, shouldn't I? Okay, number 4 is Andy McMaster. So Andy, well done, Andy.
Andy, good old Andy.
Excellent. Yes. Okay, excellent. So we're going to
save on postage for this one.
Yeah, you can. I'll let you drive up there. Yeah, you can drive up there and give it to him. Okay, good stuff. Andy will be in touch. All right. Martin, anything else before we shoot off?
Surely we've done it. We've discussed everything.
We have. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Any plans for next week? Are we going to do something? Are we going to play something?
So we haven't discussed it yet. We haven't discussed it at all. So there's actually lots of things that we need to be doing, isn't there?
Do you know what? We owe a playtest for a playtest that we can't talk about, but we owe a playtest report for that very big scenario that we're playtesting. Yeah. We are in the middle of our Denant campaign.
Yeah, that's right. We've also got more stuff from Toby, I think. That
we have. Toby is doing something for us.
He's working on something at the moment.
He is working on something for us, yes.
Yeah.
We're going to have Rob's second part of his PBM coming up. Guys, if any of you want to contribute at all, get in touch. You can do. Next week, I'm going to talk a bit more about the REST API for the Scenario Archive, if you want to integrate to that. I should mention again the Vassal template application. I'm going to talk about that next week as well, to give you an insight into what that application is. Because, Martin, what's the Vassal template program?
Do you know what? I haven't got a clue.
Next week, you'll know. More about it.
Wow.
All right.
I'm going to tune in for that one.
Yeah, you should do. All right, guys. Well, until then, thanks very much for everybody for watching.
Thanks very much.
Take it easy. Cheers, then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.